Can I ask you a question that might sting a little? When you were younger and pictured the woman you would be by now, what did you see? Maybe she had a career she was proud of. Maybe she had money saved. Maybe she had her own place. Maybe she was married. Maybe there were children running through the house. Maybe she traveled more. Maybe she was confident, certain, established. Maybe she just seemed settled. And now you're here. You've reached an age that once sounded very grown up, and somehow you still feel like you're figuring things out. You open your phone and someone you went to school with is announcing an engagement. Someone else just bought a house. Another woman is celebrating a promotion. Someone is posting pictures from a country you've always wanted to visit. Someone is pregnant. Someone launched the business. Someone seems to have become the woman you thought you would be by now. And you're happy for them. You really are. But sometimes happiness for someone else and disappointment about your own life can exist in the same room. So you smile. You tap the little heart. Maybe you even type, "Congratulations." And then you put your phone down, and something inside you gets quiet, because you thought you'd be further by now. But I wonder if the question isn't, why am I so far behind? Maybe the question is, who told you where you were supposed to be by now?
Welcome to Her in Progress, a space to think, feel, grow, and figure things out together. Get comfortable. Let's talk.
Your life doesn't necessarily have to be falling apart for you to feel it. You can have a job and still wonder whether you chose the wrong career. You can have people who love you and still feel like something is missing. You can be in a relationship and wonder why everyone else seems to be moving toward marriage, while yours feels permanently stuck in "we'll see." You can be married and feel behind because you don't have children yet. You can have children and feel behind because your career stalled. You can have the career and feel behind financially. You can be doing objectively well and still carry this uncomfortable suspicion that you should be doing better. That's what makes this feeling so exhausting. The finish line keeps moving. You finally get something you once desperately wanted, and before you've even had time to enjoy it, your mind finds the next thing you haven't achieved. You got the degree, but you don't have the salary. You got the salary, but you don't have the relationship. You found the relationship, but there's no ring. You got married, but there's no house. You got the house, but somebody else's house is bigger. And suddenly life becomes one long performance review. Am I doing enough? Earning enough? Saving enough? Growing enough? Healing enough? Am I attractive enough? Successful enough? Disciplined enough? Shouldn't I know what I'm doing by now? And that last question can be especially cruel, because there is something nobody really tells you about adulthood. You can become more capable without becoming completely certain. You can become wiser and still have questions. You can know yourself better and still change your mind. You can be 35 and make a decision you thought you would have figured out at 25. You can be 28 and begin again. You can be 40 and realize that the life you spent years building isn't actually the life you want anymore. Growing older doesn't automatically remove uncertainty. Sometimes it simply gives you better questions. But comparison doesn't show us that. Comparison gives us snapshots. And snapshots are dangerous when we use them to judge entire lives. You see the engagement photograph. You don't see the conversations behind it. You see the promotion announcement. You don't see the year she wondered whether anyone noticed her work. You see the beautiful apartment. You don't see the financial anxiety. You see the family photograph. You don't see the complicated Tuesday evening they had 15 minutes before taking it. And this isn't about assuming everybody secretly has a terrible life. That's just comparison in another costume. Sometimes people really are happy. Sometimes she really does love her marriage. Sometimes the business really is thriving. Sometimes your friend really is having an incredible year. We don't need to diminish someone else's happiness to feel better about our own lives. But we do need to remember something. You are comparing your entire internal experience to the parts of somebody else's life that you can see. Those are not equal measurements. And sometimes you're not even jealous of her. You're grieving something in yourself. Her engagement reminds you that you thought you would have found someone by now. Her pregnancy reminds you of a timeline you've quietly been carrying. Her promotion reminds you that you've been saying for 3 years that you want to leave your job. Her confidence reminds you of the version of yourself you keep postponing. Her life isn't necessarily the problem. It just touched something. And maybe that's worth paying attention to. Because underneath "I should be further by now" is usually another sentence. I thought I would have. Fill in the blank. I thought I would have found someone. I thought I would have figured out what I wanted. I thought I would have more money. I thought I would have stopped making this mistake. I thought I would have become more confident. I thought I would have healed from that. I thought I would have started the business. I thought I would have left this job. I thought I would have moved. I thought I would have made my parents proud. I thought I would feel different. And there can be real grief in that gap, the gap between the life you imagined and the life you actually have. We don't talk about that kind of grief very often because nothing necessarily happened. There wasn't always one dramatic loss. Sometimes you're grieving an expectation, a version of adulthood, a version of yourself, a timeline, a future you rehearsed so many times in your head that it started to feel like a promise. And when life doesn't follow the script, it can feel strangely personal, like you failed. But an expectation not becoming reality doesn't automatically mean you failed. Sometimes the expectation itself needs to be examined. Imagine a woman who, at 22, decided she would be married by 28. Not because 28 held some magical significance. It just sounded right. Her mother married young. Most of her friends wanted marriage. She grew up hearing questions like, "So when are you going to settle down?" And somewhere along the way, 28 became a deadline. She reaches 28. No husband. Now every wedding invitation feels heavier than it should. At 29, she starts dating differently. Not necessarily better. Faster. She overlooks things she once would have questioned because she's tired of wasting time. She stays too long in relationships that don't feel right because starting over sounds terrifying. And suddenly she isn't choosing from peace anymore. She's choosing from panic. Not because she desperately wants that particular man, but because she desperately wants to get back on schedule. That's what feeling behind can do. It can make you rush decisions that deserve patience. Take jobs because the title sounds impressive. Stay with people because starting again would make you feel even later. Spend money you don't have because you want your life to look established. Force friendships that have changed. Make permanent decisions to soothe temporary embarrassment. And maybe this is the uncomfortable part of our conversation. Sometimes feeling behind is painful, but sometimes we also use it. We use comparison as a place to hide. Because as long as we're staring at how far ahead everyone else seems to be, we don't have to look too closely at what we've been postponing. There are things outside your control. Absolutely. You cannot schedule when the right relationship appears. You cannot control every economic setback. You cannot control whether a company hires you. You cannot control every family responsibility, unexpected loss, closed door, delayed opportunity, or detour life puts in front of you. But there are also things you may have been avoiding. Maybe you've been saying you want a different career, but you haven't applied anywhere. Maybe you've wanted to start something for years, but you keep telling yourself you need to be more prepared. Maybe you've been waiting to feel confident before you begin. Maybe you already know a relationship isn't right, but the thought of starting over frightens you more than staying unhappy. Maybe you keep saying, "I'm behind," when what you really mean is, "I'm afraid to begin from where I am." And those are different problems. One makes you feel powerless. The other gives you somewhere to start. You can have compassion for the reasons you're here, and still take responsibility for where you go next. Both can be true. Maybe life genuinely delayed you, and maybe now it's your turn to move. Maybe something happened that changed your plans, and maybe you still have choices available today. Maybe you lost time, and maybe spending another 5 years mourning those 5 years won't give them back. That doesn't mean rush. It means return to yourself. Because I think sometimes we become so obsessed with catching up that we never stop to ask whether we even want the life we're trying to catch. Think about that. If nobody could see your life, what would you still want? If you couldn't post it, would you still want it? If your friends weren't doing it, would you still pursue it? If your family had no opinion, would you still choose it? If there were no age attached to it, would it still matter to you? Those questions can be uncomfortable, because sometimes we discover that we've been chasing milestones we never consciously chose. We inherited them from family, culture, social media, friends, childhood expectations, maybe even from an old version of ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with wanting traditional milestones. Wanting marriage isn't shallow. Wanting children isn't backward. Wanting financial success isn't greedy. Wanting a beautiful home isn't superficial. Wanting a meaningful career isn't selfish. The question isn't whether you should want those things. The question is whether you know why you want them. Because wanting something is very different from needing it to prove that your life is progressing. That distinction matters. There's another thing I want you to consider. You may be measuring progress only by what can be announced. And some of the most important progress in your life will never come with an announcement. Nobody throws you a party because you finally learned how to say no without explaining yourself for 20 minutes. There's no certificate for recognizing a pattern you've repeated for years and deciding it ends with you. Nobody sends flowers because you stopped calling someone who only remembers you when they're lonely. There's no promotion ceremony for learning how to sit with yourself without constantly needing distraction. You don't get applause for becoming less reactive, for apologizing when you're wrong, for rebuilding your confidence quietly, for becoming more discerning about who gets access to you, for learning that being needed isn't the same as being loved, for making peace with a decision nobody else understands, for realizing that your worth doesn't increase because someone chooses you. Those things don't photograph particularly well, but they change your life. Maybe you are further than you think, just not in the categories you've been using to measure yourself. And I'm not saying that so we can pretend everything is fine. Sometimes you really do need change. Sometimes dissatisfaction is information. If you've been miserable in the same situation for years, maybe the answer isn't another inspirational quote about trusting the timing of your life. Maybe something needs to move. Maybe you need to make the call, submit the application, take the course, have the conversation, make the budget, ask for help, end something, begin something, admit something. Feeling behind doesn't always mean your perspective is wrong. Sometimes it's revealing that you've outgrown where you are. But there's a difference between movement and panic. Panic says, I need to fix my entire life immediately. Movement says, what is one honest thing I can do next? That question is much kinder, and usually much more useful, because you don't need to solve the next 10 years tonight. You need the next honest step. And if you're a woman of faith, I think there's a quiet spiritual layer to this too. We talk a lot about trusting God's timing, and sometimes that phrase can become so familiar that we stop thinking about what it actually asks of us. Trust doesn't mean sitting still forever. And it doesn't mean pretending disappointment doesn't hurt. Sometimes trusting God looks like praying, and applying, waiting, and preparing, hoping, and being honest. It can mean saying, God, this is not where I thought I would be. Not dramatically, not ungratefully, just truthfully. Because faith doesn't require you to lie about your disappointment. You can be grateful and still desire change. You can trust God and still be tired. You can believe your life has meaning and still have days when you don't understand the direction it's taking. And maybe instead of constantly asking God, why am I not there yet? There are seasons when the better prayer is, what am I supposed to do with where I am? Because this version of your life matters too. Not just the future version, not just the married version, the promoted version, the healed version, the financially secure version, the version who finally has everything sorted out. You. Here. Now. This woman deserves your attention too. Because there is a danger in treating your present life like a waiting room. You keep thinking real life will begin when something happens. When you meet someone. When you earn more. When you lose the weight. When you move. When you finally know your purpose. When you become more confident. When the business works. When you're no longer confused. Then you'll dress how you want. Then you'll travel. Then you'll make friends. Then you'll take photographs. Then you'll buy yourself flowers. Then you'll enjoy your life. But how many years can disappear while you're waiting to become worthy of your own participation? Your life is already happening. On ordinary Tuesdays. On your commute. While you make dinner. While you laugh with your friend over something completely ridiculous. While you sit alone with coffee before everyone wakes up. While you're still figuring things out. While some prayers remain unanswered. While some dreams are unfinished. This counts. This is your life too. And I think one of the most freeing things a woman can learn is how to desire more without despising what she has now. You can want more. Please hear me. You are allowed to want more. More love. More stability. More purpose. More money. More adventure. More peace. More meaningful relationships. More from yourself. But wanting a different future doesn't require you to insult your present. You don't have to call yourself a failure to motivate yourself. You don't have to hate where you are to move forward. Maybe growth sounds less like, I should be further, and more like, I'm here. So what can I build from here? That changes the energy completely. There's something practical I want you to do after this conversation. Take a page in your notebook and write, by this age I thought I would. And finish the sentence. Write everything. Don't make it sound mature. Don't edit yourself. Marriage, children, money, career, house, travel, confidence, whatever comes up. Then beside each one ask, who gave me this deadline? Maybe the answer is you. Fine. But maybe it was your parents, your friends, your culture, social media, an old dream, fear, comparison. And then ask one more question. Do I still want this? Or do I just feel embarrassed that I don't have it? Sit with that one, because your answer might surprise you. And for the things you genuinely still want, choose one small movement you can make. Not 20. 1. If it's career, maybe update your resume. If it's money, look honestly at your numbers. If it's community, message someone instead of waiting to be invited. If it's a project, give it 30 minutes this week. If it's something you cannot control, maybe your work right now is different. Maybe your work is learning how to hold desire without letting it become self-rejection. And the next time you're scrolling and that familiar feeling appears, that little drop in your stomach when somebody announces the thing you wanted, notice it. Before you criticize yourself for being jealous, ask, what did this touch in me? Maybe there's information there. Maybe there's grief. Maybe there's desire. Maybe there's fear. Maybe there's something you need to do. Or maybe you simply need to remind yourself that another woman's good news is not evidence that you missed your turn. There isn't one small supply of good lives being handed out on a first-come, first-served basis. Her marriage didn't steal yours. Her success didn't reduce your possibilities. Her confidence isn't proof that you failed. Her timeline is information about her life, not instructions for yours. Maybe you thought you'd be further by now. Maybe there are things you wish you had done differently. Maybe there were opportunities you didn't take. Maybe you stayed too long. Maybe you waited too long. Maybe you were afraid. Maybe life happened. Maybe you changed. Maybe the plan changed. Maybe you're still trying to understand what happened. You don't have to rewrite history and pretend you wouldn't change anything. You can have regrets without building a home inside them. Because the woman you imagined becoming at 22 was imagining a future with information she had at 22. She didn't know everything you know now. She hadn't met everyone you've met. She hadn't survived your disappointments. She hadn't changed her mind. She hadn't discovered what mattered. She was guessing. We all were. So maybe you don't owe her the exact life she imagined. Maybe you owe the woman you are now something different. Honesty, courage, attention, a willingness to begin again where necessary, and enough patience to stop treating your life like it's late. Because maybe further isn't always forward. Maybe sometimes progress is leaving something, unlearning something, resting, starting over, changing your mind, choosing differently, becoming quieter, becoming braver, becoming more honest. Maybe there are seasons when progress looks impressive, and seasons when it looks like nobody would notice it but you. Both count. So tonight, or whenever you're listening to this, I don't want you to ask yourself, why am I not further? Ask yourself, from where I am right now, what would moving forward honestly look like? Not impressively, not quickly, not compared with her. Honestly, because your life does not need to look finished to be meaningful. You do not need to have arrived to respect the woman you are becoming. And maybe 5 years from now, you'll look back at this version of yourself, the one who thought she was late, and realize she wasn't standing at the end of anything. She was standing somewhere in the middle, learning, reconsidering, choosing, beginning, becoming, And the middle can feel messy because you don't yet know what everything is becoming. But that doesn't make it meaningless. So give yourself permission to build from here. Not from the age you wish you were. Not from the choices you wish you had made. Not from somebody else's timeline. From here. Your life is not a race you forgot to enter. And you are not a finished product that somehow missed its deadline. You're a woman in motion. A woman with choices still available to her. A woman whose story is still being written. You're still becoming. If this conversation put words to something you've been carrying quietly, tell me in the comments. What's one thing you thought you would have figured out by now? You never know. Another woman might read your answer and realize she's been putting herself under the exact same pressure. And if you want more conversations about life, love, faith, identity, and all the complicated parts of becoming, subscribe to Her in Progress. There's room for you here. Until next time, be gentle with where you are and honest about where you want to go. You're still becoming.